So this is the second part. So you weren't at the first panel, Chris. So you probably had to watch that at some point, which would be good for you. It's on the YouTube channel. It was when you get a lead through Opt City. That panel was on, like, what do you say right then? What are you looking for? How do you close for an appointment? What are some red flags? What are some things to think about? So there's an hour on that. You should watch that. Today we're talking about when you actually meet with them for the first time. So you talk to them on the phone. You set the appointment. We're probably going to meet at the house. We'll talk about that. You might have to. You can meet at the office, but we'll get your guys' opinions. And they're like, what do you say? What do you do? So let's just kind of go through, some of the steps. So introduce the panel. You probably don't know everybody, but Dave Carney, Chuck Foster, Kelsey Besecker. Is that how you say your last name?
Besecker.
Besecker. And Chris Norris. So these guys, these guys all sell a lot of houses, and they all do the LEAD program. So this is the perfect panel to ask, like, how do you guys do it? Because that's what we want to learn. So we're going to go through several steps today. The first step is before they arrive, like preparing to meet somebody. You've all done this enough. Like, what do? Do you research them at all? You ever Googled them? Or do you look on Facebook, see if you can find them? Give me some ideas. Kelsey, you're nodding.
I do. I do the same thing for listing appointments.
Okay.
That I just check them out, see what they do. It really makes a difference in their occupation and the way that they think and the way that you can connect with them and kind of build rapport. So yeah, I look them up.
You look them up, a little stalking.
Yeah,
Stalking.
yeah. Well, because if they're like a financial guy and they want a little bit more data, a little bit more, so I just come prepared with that.
Okay. And you usually have time, right?
Yeah.
You're taking the call. You're setting what's the earliest, quickest you guys set to see somebody?
Just depends.
I've gone immediately.
You've gone right.
I've gone the next day, but I've also hung up the phone and went and met him. And I got a listing and a sale, a listing and a buy at the same time for that. So.
Nice. Well, there's no time to prep then, though, huh?
No.
Didn't
Nope.
prep on that one.
No, didn't prep on that one. Just went right to it.
Dave, what do you do?
I'd say, so those situations do happen for sure, but it's more common to have at least a little bit of time. I'm sure we all do the same thing as far as try to get them as quick as possible. So if they're ready to go and we can have that appointment at that house right away, then absolutely. Because, the more time that passes, the less chance they're going to show up or something. So
And do all these leads have a house in mind?
almost always. Sometimes they don't, or sometimes the house they have in mind is already pending, or something like that. That can happen. But for the most part, they have a house that they specifically have called on this property for a reason. So I take the information that I have just based on that property, and I use that to find other properties that are close by because I want to bring value to them because that's how I'm going to build that relationship. So that's probably the biggest part of my prep. Mm-hmm. Without going into details with them on the phone, I just use that info and I say, well, this house is here. Here are some features about it. Have you guys seen this one? Have you seen, these other properties that are close by? I try to find vacant ones so that if we're there and I'm doing my job well, they're going to say, oh no, absolutely, let's go take a look at it. And we'll be able to just go right then and there.
Okay. So do you Google them ever or look them up ahead of time?
I don't, but I think it's smart, but I don't.
Okay. But you get other properties.
Yeah. Besides
that one, just in case. How do you do that, Chuck? Ahead of time, before you drive out to actually go meet with them? What's your prep?
Right, exactly. It's I like to either know two things: either a similar home, if it's a very traditional house, a subdivision home, that kind of thing. Maybe I know the other two houses that are also listed in that same neighborhood because maybe it's neighborhood specific, whether it's a school or just a vibe that they really like, or something about 2 miles away that is a very similar home. Like on paper, you'd say that's the exact same house, more or less. That way, let's say you get there and the house is a complete no. There's something wrong. It smells like dog and they hate it. Okay, well, we're in the neighborhood. There's one right next street over. Let's go take a look at that. Do you have time right now? That way, you're extending that that appointment. You're extending that time to become their friend, be their advisor, that kind of thing. Instead of the one and done. Well, see you later. Don't forget, email me. Nope, you guys are already driving away. Well, then you've lost them. Your chances of continuing that conversation go down. So I always like to have something so that I can at least, like Dave mentioned, be of value and be ready to offer them some sort of expertise along with it just in case. And even if that first house is really good, say, hey, there's another great one right around the corner. Should we go check that out? That way you can compare, contrast. So I always like to have a little bit of basics there. And yeah, I don't really do research on the person per se. I I always get nervous about that.
We're not all stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Kelsey.
I am a little bit of a stalker. Yeah, it can help. It
Yeah.
really
No,
can
I-
help.
absolutely. There's definite
Yeah.
benefits to it.
Yeah.
Well, refresh my memory. In the last panel, on the call on the phone, do you ask, is this the only house, or is there something important about this area, or do you ask anything like that to prep yourself of, well, I work right down the street, that's why I want this neighborhood, or do you find that kind of stuff out on the call at all, or do you do it when you're in person? when
I
you're there?
don't. I do it in person,
Yeah.
just because my whole goal is to just get in front of them.
Yeah.
I just
set
want to
the
meet
example.
them. I want to get to know them. I want to build rapport, and so that's yeah.
And like we talked about last time, they've already been on the phone for who knows how long, talking to somebody else, and they most of the time they just want to get off the phone, and so
And go see something.
I don't want to contribute to any possible frustration they may have with their current experience.
Yeah. Chris, what do you do for prepping? Do you look them up at all? Do you
No.
obviously you print out the stuff for the house that you're going to
Yeah,
show?
I don't look them up, unfortunately.
I'm the only stalker.
I mean, I like to just meet them, and I just kind of play it by ear and just ask them the questions while we're kind of going through the house. But mostly, I do very similar. Like I prep what the other house is. I see what's in the area. I compare what they're looking at.
Do you like a radius search?
Well, just kind of in that, yeah, about within a mile.
Okay.
It just depends on like if they happen to have two houses or just one house. I pull up, some that are similar. Obviously, you kind of don't really know exactly what their high end, low end budget is.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll get some right around the same price point, and then while we're there and while they're kind of looking around, I'm like pulling up ones while I'm asking them questions. I have the app that I'm pulling up other ones that also
Okay.
might be a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
That there's like, oh yeah, we could probably go up, and then I'm like, hey, there's this one as well on top of the one that's the same price,
Mhm.
and we kind of bounce around and look at other ones too.
I like that.
One bit of advice too is if you're doing the research at your computer before you leave, say on Intermountain MLS, save it as a listing card. So like person's name, listing card, so you can get to it quick if you already have that list, or at least already have that search loaded into your phone. Because again, if you make the listing card at your desktop, you can save it, pull it up on your phone pretty easy. Otherwise, at least go to your phone, log into MLS early. Especially if you're going to a place, you're going to go show some houses in Homedale or somewhere that has low reception for your phone. You don't want to be on your phone agonizing over the speed of the internet loading and things like that. Instead, if you already have that list pulled up, because one, you have the information from the home on there as well, it makes it real easy to be quick to offer suggestions. Okay, no, there's another home just like this. It's right here. Because there's been plenty of times where I've done the opposite, forgot to do that, and then you're sitting there in the kitchen like, no, you guys tour the house yourself while I'm sitting here
Struggling.
complaining that it's 2025 and I can't get my phone to load kind of thing.
So, what kind of things do you take with you to give them? Do you give them anything? Do you give them like a client full, or do you give them a folder, a suite group folder with? What do you give them? Do you give them anything?
I don't give them anything. I do take the suite group folder just so I have that information. I always have the MLS printed off,
Okay.
so I have all the information of the home right in front of me.
Mhm.
But I don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff with me. I don't want to look salesy.
Mhm.
I want to just come off like natural and
Mm-hmm.
not pushy.
Right.
So yeah, so I've got the MLS sheet as well. If there's
A client full or just a regular one?
So just a regular one. If there's a property disclosure available, which there should be, but there's not always, but if that's available, I have that printed off. And that's one that I'll give them if we're talking, that way as we're talking through the house. Again, it's just that value add
Right.
from me. As far as anything else, sometimes if they have like flyers in the MLS, I'll print one of those out and just have it right in front of the house before we get there for them. But yeah, that's it mostly.
What about you, Jeff?
I just bring this warm smile and no, I've got for me, I like to have the phone there, and again, just like Kelsey mentioned too, I don't want to have a bunch of stuff. I feel like if I'm there and I really break down that fourth wall of just being a person-to-person contact, that's the way my brain works the most with it. So yeah, I just show up myself, my cell phone in hand, loaded as ready to go as possible, and then just walk through the home with them, that kind of thing. And then if let's say they love that house, then of course it's, well, perfect. As soon as I get back to my home office, I'm going to send you disclosure forms. I'm going to send you all this other information so you have time to look at it and all of that. But no, in hand, just me.
What you could?
Depends on the client. mostly, I mean, if they're brand new, first time home buyers and they have absolutely no idea what's going on, I'll bring the buyer's sweepbook folder that just has the extra documents in there just to help them familiarize themselves with it.
The spiral bound one.
Yeah, so, well, no, just the folder just got like the documents in it.
Oh, okay.
So they can just kind of see what it looks like. So eventually when I send it over, they're not like, I don't know what the hell this is, you
Right.
know? And then I put all the MLS sheets in there as well, and I hand it to them, and I'm like, all right, so we have all the information on these homes that we're going to look at.
Mhm.
You know, this home, whatever. Go ahead and take notes with this, you know, and just hand it to them.
What if people want to write an offer right then? If you had that,
Oh, I have
and
it.
are you ready?
Yeah.
You have the form and everything
Yeah.
with you?
I don't have the forms with me, but I have my laptop with me always.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always,
So you
yeah,
can
I've
always
definitely
just
had
pull it up
ones
and
where I'm
do
like,
it.
all right,
You're
let's
just
do it.
ready
This
to
house is vacant. Let's do it. Or
Yeah.
great, let's go back to my office if there's, you know, if it's owner occupied.
Yeah, a lot. Sometimes, I mean, not always do they want to go back to the office. They got like to run off somewhere, and so like we'll just get like a quick breakdown of what they want. And I said, all right, I'll run right back to the office. You'll see an email in about an hour
Mhm.
in your email. Go ahead and I'm gonna send it in a PDF form for you to review it, so you don't feel obligated to sign it right away. And then send it to them as soon as I get to the office, get it sent, and then have them look over it. Call me if they have questions. And like on this last one I just had, she just texted me, everything looks great. Sent it over for signature, sent it out. So,
Nice.
because she had to get back to work, and
Right.
it wasn't one of those she could just sit around and just write it.
Right.
But
Any other questions you guys have about before? Anything else you guys want to say, like prepping before you even meet with them? Make sense?
Don't forget to schedule the. If it's owner occupied house, make sure you call ahead because it's always a fun one.
Yeah, he just show up.
Yeah, you're like,
taking a shower.
Sometimes it works out, and you can still see.
I knew I forgot something here.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, just always remember to because it seems so simple, but it is something. Don't forget because you're in the mindset of like, I want to get out there, I want to show this person, we're gonna go. Oh, that means I have to get ready myself and all that kind of fun stuff. You get out the door, there's always that one thing you forgot. But in this
So
case,
what
don't forget
happens
to
if you
schedule.
you talk to them, right? We'll meet at the house, we're good to go. So then I'm sure the order of events is first you're talking to the client, the lead, then you call, and let's say it's not available or it went pending today already, and they don't want any more showings, or something came up and it's just not available anymore. Has that happened to you before?
Well, hopefully they'll still allow a showing. I'll still go.
You'll still go. What do you guys do? in
Especially
that
if it's already.
I don't
scheduled.
tell him it's pending.
Oh, you don't until you show up.
Yeah, I feel like it just depends on the circumstances. Like,
Yeah, because you want to get in front of
Yeah,
them.
because if
Exactly.
it's-
I just want to meet him
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then when we build some rapport, then
Yep.
well, this one actually ends up being pending. Let's go look at some other homes.
Right.
So yeah.
Because that plays into like if you already had the other homes available, kind of on your list of ones we could check out.
You can go
It's
look.
great to just show it to them. Be like, hey, look, we'll keep our eyes on this one if it comes back on the market. But let's go take a look at the one around the corner, and see what that one looks like.
That's why you have your backups. Is that what you do, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it'll happen where it's pending and it's owner occupied and they're not allowing any more showings, and that's a little bit harder because now you're coming and saying, listen, you're coming back to the original client, the lead, and you're telling them we can't see this one. I found these other ones that are similar. Let's go take a look at these. And sometimes because now you don't have that connection
Exactly.
with them,
Right.
sometimes
Like
it's
Kelsey's
harder
point,
to.
she still wants to meet with them.
Right.
Maybe
Exactly.
just meet them at the house anyway and say, look, on the way over, I got the information from the agent. So as we're sitting here talking, let's go over this one. Just Lisa, you're physically in front of them.
Yeah.
Good. Well, let's talk about the driveway when you pull up to the house. Some of the questions I had was like you're meeting people you've never met, strangers from the internet, right? So how do you introduce yourself? I'm assuming. How does that go when you first meet with them? What is your thought process?
We're starting with me now.
Let's go with you.
My thought process? It just depends on who gets there first or whatnot. So usually I try to get there a little early, especially if it's just the one house. I'll try.
And
to
if it's vacant, do you
Right.
go in? And
Even if
turn
it's
lights
not
on and
vacant,
open
usually
blinds?
like the people that are living there are usually gone at least 10 minutes before. So I'll pop in, go in there, turn on lights, get kind of ready, and then kind of wait for them to pull up and then open the door.
So you're in the house when they pull up, typically.
It just
If-
depends. Yeah, if I get there before they do, some clients get super excited and we like meet there at the same time. So
Right.
it really just kind of depends. So typically I'll do that. Say, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Chris. Just so that they know who they're talking to, because a lot of times they don't know what I look like, so
Right.
they're just kind of guessing. And And then I obviously like here's some information on the home. Let's go take a look, you know. And we kind of walk in, and I kind of watch their faces. We walk in and kind of do those things. If we pull up together, then I meet them at their car when they get
Right.
out. You know, introduce myself,
Mhm.
tell them to what do you think of the house so far, and then kind of start having conversation as we go up to the door.
Cool.
So
So you're there ahead of time. I like that. And then you typically, if you can, you're already in the house. So it's like an open house. They're walking up,
Right.
you open the door. How
I
do you
usually
do it?
try to do a quick sweep of the house so I have an idea
Right.
what it
So you
looks
have to
like.
talk-
Yeah.
Got some talking points in your head.
Like, oh, the carpet's bad.
Yeah. What do you do there, Kelsey?
I usually go in with them. I don't go. That's a good idea to go in and turn the light. But I feel more comfortable like getting out of the car at the same time, walking up to them, introducing myself, shaking their hand, and then going in the house together.
Okay.
And then just being able to talk the whole time that we're kind of waiting and doing that.
Mhm.
And then once we actually get in the house, I kind of let them do their thing. I don't want to be right behind
Right.
them and just let them tour and answer any questions and really just talk to them about their needs. Why are you moving? And then I talk to them about their current home because a lot of times they may not bring up they're selling a home, but they are.
Right.
So I've gotten a lot of listings that way
Right.
too. So
Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is
Oh,
the pivoting. No, that's good. I'm glad we're going to touch
Jump
on
in
this
the
too.
gun.
jumping the gun
Pump
straight to the
brakes,
listing.
Kelsey.
I'm just on the camera, but from talking about the house to talking about the relationship, right? There has to be a point in here somewhere where we're like, oh, okay, so this was the great house, we're gonna write an offer, or this isn't the right house, what's the next steps? We are gonna pivot into what's the relationship like? How are we gonna work together? So you you're asking what we call closing questions really early to find out then where they are with this. Yeah, I like that. That's right when you meet them and start walking through the house. How do you meet with them, John? And again, I'm assuming you meet them at the house.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's my preference as
Right.
well. Meet them at the house.
That's their preference, certainly, right?
Yeah, they want to get to the destination. So typically, what I do is arriving. Let's say we're both getting there at the same time. The driveway conversation for me is typically to try and break down those defensive barriers that all of us human beings typically have. Even if we've had a really good phone conversation with them, odds are you're always on guard when you meet somebody. And so I try telling people as we're walking up to the driveway or up through the driveway to the door, there's no right or wrong way to do what we're about to do. So just in case we get into this house and you absolutely hate it, you will never hurt my feelings if you tell me, Chuck, this house is horrible. Because everybody thinks that we are somehow tied or sales
Right.
pitched to that
Right,
house
right.
specifically.
And we need to spend 25 minutes in here, even though we hate it.
Yeah, one, don't
Tell
tell me
them,
about
don't worry
all
about
the
that, right.
best features, even though it's a definite no. Or two, don't feel obligated to see something that you don't like. And so I always remind people, there's no right or wrong way.
Mhm.
If you love it, awesome. If you hate it, let's go find something that better fits you, better suits you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that way, you've kind of brought them back to a relaxed position. Then once we go through the house, like say we did get there at the same time, and I'm opening the door for the first time with them right behind me, I usually tell them, hey, I'm going to go through, I'm going to run through, turn on as many lights as I can. You make yourself at home and start exploring. That way I can do the full sprint.
I like that.
I get kind of the run through of the home, but it also gives them another relaxed moment of,
You're
oh,
off doing something else.
yeah, we don't have to worry. Okay, we can start looking around, and you're entering the home in a more typical fashion to how a homeowner would enter their own home versus somebody entering a brand new space. So if I get there before them, and honestly, with my schedule, my life, my kids, my everything that's combined, or my natural ability to be late to everything, I'm usually getting there within 5 minutes of showing time or less. And so I usually don't get there
So they're
early enough.
usually there.
Yeah, because like Chris said, you got a lot of those people that will be. We've been here for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
sitting there waiting.
Our appointment was at 2:00. I'm glad you were there at 1:30.
Right.
That's great. Good for you. Wonderful. I'll be there at our appointment time.
Right.
But that being said, if I do have the opportunity to get through the house first, do a quick run through. That way you know, okay, so there is a bonus room upstairs. You know, whatever the nuance of that house is, again, you can talk to them in a very professional manner and describe the home. But more often than not, it's me and them walking through the first time.
Right.
And at that point, turning on lights gives you a quick chance
Quick run.
and a professional opportunity to be doing something while also learning as you go.
I like that you said, because I always did that, was make it clear we don't have to stay in this. You don't have to go in this house.
Yeah.
If you drive up to the house and hate it, we need to leave. I said, well, I used to tell people, you need to be honest with me and transparent about what you like and what you don't, because this is us learning each other. And if I don't learn really what you want, it's going to take longer for this process. So you're not hurting my feelings. I'm not going to live in this house. So you just tell me what you like and don't like right away. And if they drive, I've literally had clients, I'm sure you guys all have too, driving up to the house, they hate the neighborhood or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
that's great.
Why go in
Why?
and look?
Let's just talk about it, and then I'll learn. And I'm learning and cataloging in my head what your preferences are, so that'll help me just distill from this many houses to this many. So give them that permission to
Saves time.
not be in this house for 20 minutes is such a big.
Another helpful tip too, let's say you are showing like 3 houses or something and you've booked one of these houses, it's a owner occupied and that owner's left the home to make it possible for you to go in there. At least do the courtesy, pop the lockbox, put that key right back in, and that way you can tell the agent, hey, we did look at the home, so that at least that homeowner feels like they didn't leave their home
For nothing, yeah.
But give your buyer the opportunity to say, I hate this house, let's leave. But at least do that courtesy for the listing agent so that they know that you did go and show it, you did arrive at the home, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's very frustrating for sellers and for listing agents when you have an appointment and we do all the work, especially if it's owner occupied, and they leave, they clean the house up, turn the lights on, stage it, they leave for an hour and they come back and nobody ever showed it. And it's like, it's very upsetting for the seller. And so it's like, it's a great point. Be courteous to the other agent. David, about you?
So very similar. So I mean, I most of the time don't go in the house before they get there. I like to meet them at their car, meet them in front of the house as well.
Like Kelsey does.
Yeah. After that phone call, I'm always sending them a text, and then part of that text message is I have a link to my link tree, so it's got like my face right there on
So they
it.
can recognize you.
And I tell them that specifically. I'm going to send you a link with all my contact information. That way you can see my face, so you know who you're meeting at the property. And then because I'm a dad, I always use that as an icebreaker when I get there and they pull up. I'm like, hey guys, nice to meet you. Sorry to disappoint. It looks much better on your phone than it does in person, but here we are. Here, you've got me. So. And it's just a good icebreaker, just relaxes the mood. Because
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
just people in general, in any perceived sales environment, they're going to feel defensive. So any way that you can lower those defenses is beneficial.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm opening the door with them, and I'm always just kind of holding, okay guys, come on in, let's go inside, and then start talking about it as they're going through.
So I like the with them, a lot of sales, good sales, is we're on the same team. So I think meeting them at the house can be the first step into we're in this together. And then if you meet them at the car, you guys do, that I think that there's a positioning there of a relationship that we're together. And it's not an adversarial relationship. It's we're on the same team and I'm helping you. And all these guys are good at doing that, obviously. Safety, I mean, just one thing I want to talk about on the first base. Do you worry about safety? Is it a thought? Do you worry about it, Kelsey? I mean, do you have things you're looking for or things you won't? Have you had any experiences where it's like, okay, I'm never doing that again, or thoughts on that? Like, do you show property alone, first of all?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
Because some don't, right? Some people don't want to show property
I
alone.
do.
My
I
wife never wanted to
probably-
do an open house alone, so I was either there or a lender was there or somebody.
Right. Yeah. No, I've never really worried too much about it, but I definitely don't go really late at night or where it's dark, and I don't park in the driveway because I don't want to get blocked in there. And also, a lot of people are excited and they drive up into the driveway, so I just keep that open. But yeah, I let them go in first. I never go in before them or go down the stairs or
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
And I mean, if I felt
You're just getting a
uncomfortable,
vibe.
yeah, if I had a weird vibe, I would probably keep, a distance or, but I've never been too concerned about it, but I am obviously aware.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys, any other thoughts on that? Ever think about that at all, or?
Should probably be more concerned with safety than I
I
am,
know that
frankly.
as you ask, I'm thinking, probably should be a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
More.
I mean, it is a real thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
I've never, luckily, been in a scenario that I felt unsafe with anybody yet. So,
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a fake wood, by the way.
So let's talk about the
Tomorrow's
tour.
headline.
You're in the house. The classic cliche negative thing is like, here's the kitchen, and here's the master bedroom, here's the master bath. Like, how do you let them on their own? Do you point out a couple things here and there? Do you give me your style. When you're in the home actually, and I know Chuck has already kind of talked about it, that's a good strategy is going together, then, hey, let me go turn all the lights on, and you leave them. and just make yourself at home. I love that line that you said.
Because you do have an opportunity as you're doing that to listen. Again, that's the biggest part of our job, to not be a salesperson, is to be an advocate sales professional by listening to the things that you hear them. So if they walk through and you can already hear the conversation, whether it's
Yeah.
good or bad about the home,
Yeah.
it gives you a chance to do that and kind of observe. And then you meet back up with them. You go, hey, so I've heard you guys mention you really like that tiled bathroom up there in the front. That is so nice, isn't it? Gives you, again, an added conversation into it. Otherwise, I also tell people, enter this house the same way you would if you just got done going to Costco, you guys are coming home, this is your home. Obviously, you're going to see some other people's furniture, maybe some other faces smiling back from you, some photos, things like that. But enjoy the space the same way you would if you were the owner. Make yourself comfortable. Again, we're trying to relax them into that feeling of security, that feeling of, familiarity with the space that they're in. And then otherwise, I try and say, hey, did you guys see that fill in the blank feature of the home, that kind of thing. Again, trying to engage them into a response conversation where they're giving you more information.
Yes.
Don't
I
worry.
think that's a key, Chuck. I think
Yeah.
it's really important to ask them a lot of questions. I want their opinion because I want to learn how they think. So if again, I'm listening to them, if I can tell they're more of a thinker, I would say, well, what do you think about the way this kitchen is laid out? What do you think about da-da-da? And if I think they're more of a feeler, like me, I'd say, well, how do you feel about the backyard? Is that big enough for you and your kids? I got 4 kids running around. It's like, I want to ask them lots of questions so they feel important because their opinion is important. But you need them, instead of just telling, look at the backyard, you guys could do this, look at the kitchen, you could do that. Don't just tell constantly, ask lots of questions and get their feedback.
Yeah, if you give them a statement, you're telling them information they've already seen by clicking some buttons on the internet.
Yeah.
If you're asking questions, I always feel like in my head there's a meter going and it said, we love this house. Well, in that case, essentially you're agreeing with everything they like about the house. Yes, that is beautiful. I love that too. All those kind of sort of affirming
Yes.
to their own emotions. And then if you feel the meter's going more towards, I don't like this house, the thing that works for me is I tie something in that they did like. All right. So you definitely love having that bonus room upstairs, but you don't like this. So we're kind of looking for a home similar to this one with that feature, but not this. And then you're able to start making your own mental notes of what they like and what that would look like, finding the better home for them where you can actually show your expertise because, then you went back and you found the perfect home and you're setting up that second appointment kind of thing.
And you're helping clarify for them. That's
Yeah.
not to be lost on this.
Right.
A lot of people, you have to help them figure out what they want.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they want. They might like certain things, but so as you ask those questions, like Chuck just said, so we need to find a home that has this feature but not that. That's clarifying not only in your head but in their head.
It's also assuming the sale. I mean, the verbiage around that is just perfect.
We need to find you.
So what we're looking for,
We.
and that's just assuming that we are now looking
We're a team.
together.
Yes, exactly. It's that team.
I've got you on the hook now.
Nice.
So we are looking together. So that's a really good way to phrase it.
Yeah, solidifying. We're already a team. We're already, which gets. I'm doing the Kelsey now. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, no.
Get to that buyer's rep at some point where
Yeah.
again you are reaffirming that you are a team with them, and this is not just a one and done situation. This is the beginning of a process that you're working with them. Really, your goal is to support that. We're a team. We've already got this. Much like a listing appointment too, where you go into it the mindset. We're already working together.
Chris, when you're showing a house, what is your style?
Well, it's
Leave 'em
not.
alone,
It's a,
walk
it's
them
a little
through.
different. So I kind of tell them right in the beginning. I was like, look, go ahead and look through the house. I was like, look at all the fancy features, get the feel for it. I said, I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news typically. So I'm gonna walk through them and I'm gonna point out things that might need to be fixed and addressed and whatnot because I feel like a lot of clients are distracted by the fancy things and then are freaked out about the inspection when we come to it. So I want you to see the house for absolutely everything and what it is. So I'm going to point out some things that might need to be addressed, later on so that you get the full feel of the house. So I let them run around and I just kind of walk through the house kind of behind them and I ask questions and I listen to them, while we're walking through and then I kind of point out things, there's a little tear in the carpet here, obviously normal wear and tear. I just want you to be aware of that walking through, some broken tile, certain things like that. And then they appreciate it because they feel like somebody's looking
You're
out for
protecting
their
them.
best interest, right?
Mhm.
Like they don't feel like they're going to walk into this house and be sold on it.
Right.
And then it'd be a bad house.
Yep.
So that's
I like
kind of how I do that, and then just ask them questions on like what they did like, and then if I obviously like Chuck said, if you hear them say something about the kitchen or something, I'm like, so how, what do you think about the kitchen? It's a very interesting layout. What do you think? And then you kind of pick apart what they like, what they don't like about it, and that's kind of the way I do it.
Okay.
So,
How long? Typically, I mean, it can change obviously with the house and the people. I mean, some people, I'm just like, come on, guys, let's go. I mean, we'll be here 45 minutes. But how long do you think showings are? Do you guys have kind of a typical thing, or is it completely different with every buyer? Do you try and control that at all, or do you just let them?
So when
How do you do it?
like if I'm scheduling, a set of showings, we're going to see 4 houses, etc. My time frame is always 15 minutes. And most of the time that's enough, because most of the time people take a little less than that depending. There are people who want to be there for an hour,
Right.
and that's a different approach for sure. But most people see what they need to see, I find, in that time.
15 minutes.
And I mean, I do think, to your point, like moving the process along as you're with them is a big part of it as well. Like, okay, let's go check out the backyard now. Let's, whatever. And I give them the opportunity at the end. Okay, looks like we're done. Is there anything else in the house you guys want to take one more look at before we leave? And so it's giving them a chance, but it's also saying we're ready to wrap this up and move on to the next one.
How do you help people? Let's say you're showing somebody 10 houses.
I won't do that in one day.
Okay.
First
What if you're showing somebody 5?
Okay.
5 houses.
Yeah.
It's very, even for me, I lose track of what was that backyard with that master bedroom. I don't remember the kitchen in this house. I remember the front yard. It's like they'll just forget stuff 2 or 3 houses in. So how do you handle that? How do you keep them like, well, we like this house. Okay, well, let's go see 4 more. Do you have a system for ranking? What do you do, Dave?
So I do exactly that. I'm very specific with them, and I'll tell them at the beginning. Most of the time, if we have a list of 5 houses, first of all, if they want to see more than that, I'll tell them up front. The maximum that I'm going to show you in one day is going to be 5, because after that, they're all going to blur together, and you're not going to actually remember anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm flexible, obviously, right? But like I say that up front, and people agree and they understand why that matters. So if it's somebody like that, I already have an established relationship with them. It's not typically going to be on the very first showing that we're seeing multiple, although sometimes it happens.
Right.
But, and I forgot what the question was. The ranking. So I tell them up front. I say, like, okay, no, and regardless of where they are, they may have told me we're 6 months out from buying, and so I'll address that and I'll say, I know you guys aren't ready to buy yet, because part of what's important about us seeing houses together is I need to see you see houses, and I need to see what you like and what you don't like, and I'm going to get that understanding so that we can continue to narrow down your search together and make it more efficient. So as we're going through houses today, I'm going to force you, whether you like it or not, I'm going to make you rank every house we see on a list of 1 to 5, and that's it. And then whatever your number 1 is from today, if none of them are the one, well, we're going to rank everything else on our next visit against what number 1 was today. So then, when we're done with the house, I'm like, okay, great. So we're finished with this first house. We're not going to talk about the house here because the walls have ears. Let's go to house number 2, and then we'll talk about this house at house number 2. And every house, I make sure I spend time saying, okay, twist your arm. What house is number 1? What's number 2? What's number 3? And going on like that.
I love that. I used to do that with the sheets. I'd give them the MLS printout on the first house. We go to it, right? Give you the sheet. We go to the second house. I would say, before I even give it to them, are you giving me that one back, or am I giving you this one? Which one's better? Because especially if they're serious buyers, like we have to buy something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, which one? The first one we just saw, or this one? If I had to put a gun to your head, if you're gonna buy one of these 2 houses, okay, it's this one. Give me the other sheet back then. I'm like, take it away. Now you have this sheet. Like, I will literally not let them. When we're done, they have a number 1 clearly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll have 5 that they kind of like, and now let's go see them all again. And I've done that. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through. This is how it's gonna work, and people typically appreciate that because they need help making decisions.
Well, and I also tell them too, and I'm sure you guys do the same. I tell them up front, we're not looking for a house that's a 10 out of 10 either.
Right.
Because we're not going to find that. So if we can get something that's at least a 7 that you think you can turn into a 9, or, if it's an 8, then that's a win.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people looking for perfection and wasting my time.
Do you guys do anything different with showing multiple houses? How do you keep them focused and without everything just becoming a big jumble?
Yeah, I try to limit for sure the amount that I show them. To
What
just
will you
ask
show?
the question, find out exactly what they're looking for, and after
What if they
you-
send you an email with like 20 houses they want to see this weekend?
I actually haven't had somebody do
You ever had
that.
anybody do that?
No.
Good.
Oh, you have. I wouldn't do that, but yeah, I mean, once you meet with them and you go to a couple houses and then you get to know what they like, then you can really hone in and limit. Because when you have too many choices, they get confused
Yeah.
and then they can't make a choice at all. So I really try to limit it.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to show as many, and they really do pick.
Yeah, I agree. Keep it
Keep
tight.
it small.
What do you do, Chuck?
I mean, opposite, you'll get that person that says, I'll be at the end of the month. I'm coming into town. We're going to be in town for 4 days. It's
Yep.
like, perfect. Let's schedule some stuff. You send me the list between now and then. Send me all the homes you like, that kind of thing. And you're building this list. You've got your listing card saved into MLS, and inevitably, some are going to drop off. Some go pending, or you notice that okay, this person's coming from out of state. They don't know a lot about our valley. They've got a cluster over here in Caldwell. They've also got some over here in Boise, Kuna, Ada County kind of thing. And you can usually chop them in half and say, hey, we're going to look at homes 2 days. First day, we're going to go look over here. Then we're going to go look over here. And that kind of helps break it up. If you've got that person that's only going to be in town for 1 day and they send you that incredibly long list, you remind them, hey, at a certain point, we're going to be seeing a lot of things. It could become too much. But I'm willing to show them. Sometimes at my own old man feet detriment, where I'm like, man, I'm so tired. But that being said, I'll show a pretty good list if need be. Again, if you get above 8, it's kind of going to be a long day, especially if they have kids with them, that kind of thing. You're reminding them, look, you're purposely scheduling yourself for something too long. I'm going to look at your list, and I might pick and choose a couple of them. Hey, this one, I wouldn't suggest. You've got better options over here, and then you can help provide that added value by telling them from your own perspective of why one's better than the other, and help bring that list down a little bit. But that being said, what works for me is when I know, all right, this Thursday I'm going to go show these people 6 homes, I write out my list. I always try and schedule my showings. First house you're going to see is going to be owner occupied, because that way a set time.
Right.
I'm making that appointment for 10 o'clock. I can tell this person that. Plus, it gives you a chance to feel out, because if the next 3 houses are all vacant, you don't have to worry about pushing them through a schedule. If you're having to hit certain deadlines, and I always try and map it out, we're going to start kind of in this loop. And if I use the feature on MLS of map my directions, and this is going to be the order we go through. It may change in price point, size of home, but it's going to be a route that's going to be easy for them to follow me and drive and navigate. And then again, that way you're hitting that first appointment on a scheduled appointment, and then everything after can be longer. You can go long if you have to, or you can go as fast as you need to. You're not worried
So
about
that point you just made, follow them. So you guys are in your own car. They're in their own car.
Yeah.
You ever have people ride with you in your car?
Occasionally.
If they're coming from out of town, those are the times where I will sometimes offer that, because I'll say, to make the most use of your time, if you're driving and trying to follow directions, you may not actually be seeing the neighborhoods we're driving through. So if you guys ride with me, you can pay more attention and get a better feel for things. So in those scenarios, I do. If they're local, I don't.
Okay. How do you deal with the multiple houses thing, Chris?
Oof. So similar to Chuck, if they are coming into town, I have shown up.
You'll show
But I'll break it up in like morning and afternoon.
Mhm.
And then I'll do 5 or 6 in the morning, depending on how many they ask for, right? But usually it's like, if they're picking a lot, maybe like 10 or 12 is usually probably the most. So it's like, 5 or 6 in the morning, and take lunch, take them out to a nice lunch so they can kind of, they feel like you care, and, you kind of can connect a little bit, and then you kind of go over the first 5, maybe rule out a couple. I always have them take notes on them, on what the features they liked of it, what they didn't like, and then we'll kind of recap on it, and then obviously we'll go to the next, and sometimes we'll compare, here's the next 5,
Right.
and this one doesn't have this, and you said you liked this, maybe let's not go take a look at that one. And sometimes we can knock a few off or
Right.
whatnot, and then we'll go take a look at the last couple of ones, and then at the end we'll be like, okay, out of these 5, did any of them compare to the first 5? Can we get rid of them, or whatnot? So that's usually how I'll do it with those ones. With any showings at all, usually I just have them take notes on what they like, and that's why I give them the paper.
Yep.
So they can take notes.
That's
and
on a
then we
printout, the
kinda-
MLS printout.
Correct, yeah, and then we'll just kind of recap on it.
Do you ever say, I used to ask people, because I learned the hard way, that people will just run you around forever. If we find the house today, Kelsey, that matches everything you're looking for and everything you've told me, and we actually find that, are you prepared to write an offer today? do you guys ever ask that question or like put them on the spot?
Yeah.
You do?
I do
you?
all the time. Yeah.
You do? Do you, Chuck?
No, I'm a vibe kind of person.
You're a vibe.
So if I feel like it's the one, so are we ready? I mean, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back to my home office. I'll reach out to the listing agent, let them know that we're exploring some stuff. I try and give them that an hour, 2 hours. Hey, you two discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna at least reach out to the other side and let them know we're thinking about this, and that way.
That puts a little pressure on them though.
Yeah,
to
at
make
least
a
there's
decision.
some sort of kind of prompt, but I respect and totally understand the go at it approach. I mean, I feel like you and Jeffrey both have a very straightforward linear mindset. Me, I'm the ethereal, emotional kind of person. So for me, I'm like, you guys talk about it
Mm-hmm.
with the prompt of we're gonna follow up on this. But yeah, so I'm a no pressure kind of person, but all respect to the dream.
Well, because if they say no, what if they say no? What if they say, well, we're not prepared to write an offer today, Rick? Then I'll just say, that's fine. So what are we doing?
What are our goals in this? Then?
What's the goal today?
For me,
That's
I
what I
trying to
try
find
to
it.
do. Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
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 I like to remind them that you can take time to think about this.
Yeah.
You loved this house that we just saw. The thing I say to them is the one thing we can't control is other people doing the exact same thing we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You will never get pressure from me. But just know other people could be looking at the same house you're looking at. And if they act before us, I don't want you to miss out on something you love. So you guys go talk about it, drive. I know you guys are in town for a couple of days. Go have a good dinner tonight. At dinner, talk about this some more. Let's plan on chatting this evening. And we'll find out if you guys want to proceed or not. Again, no pressure from me.
And I think that's a good point though, Chuck,
But it's
is
still
there's market factors. If this is
Yeah.
2021, we're probably having a different conversation. You better be like, you guys
Oh,
have to
yeah.
decide today.
Right
Before
now.
we're talking
Now.
again.
Yeah.
Before we leave.
Before we
COVID's
before we
back.
go out.
You need to.
So it's market dependent as well, because I'm
We're gonna rent
like
the
you,
offer
I wanna
before
be
we see
the
the house, just
vibe
in
guy,
case.
the friendly guy, I don't like pushing people, but I also don't like getting run around forever, so it's like, I wanna help people make a decision, and every now and then a nice pointed question to bring them back to reality is, we are looking for a home to purchase, correct? You are willing to write an offer today, correct? And if they're like hesitant on that, then I wanna explore what we're trying to do. How do you do that, Kelsey?
As far as asking them
Yeah.
or approaching it.
Just approaching how serious they are.
I'm not real pushy. Like I said, I'm very particular about the houses that I do show them that I think that they're really gonna love. And when I just show them those few, kind of in between, a few days in between, and give them time to think about it. But I do let them know that, hey, even though it has been on for 90 days, I've had listings that have been on for 90 days, and then I get 2 offers in one day,
Yeah.
and that's gone. So if you really do love it, you don't have all the time in the world to consider it. If it checks all your boxes, make your pro con list, and if it checks most of your boxes, then you probably should.
I've had listings sit there for
move on it.
6 months, and they
Totally,
get multiple
and
offers.
they get multiple offers on the same day.
And
It's the
I
weirdest
always
thing.
feel terrible to the agent. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you're not gonna believe me. This
Like, I know this
Kelsey.
sounds fake,
This is so
but I
stupid.
literally
but,
just
I
got
mean, I
one.
literally got an offer 5 minutes ago. I'm like,
Yeah, no, it definitely happens. So just letting them know, because you can pretty much gauge if their interest level in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Are you jumping in?
I'm not to clarify something too. I use that approach and I ask them, "Are you going to be ready to write an offer today?" I'm okay if the answer is no. Though,
Yeah.
because then my response is, "That's totally fine. What are our goals in this visit? What are our goals with seeing this house then?" Because then we can be aligned on the same goal, and they legitimately, maybe they're in a lease and they can't break the lease and they really can't get out for 6 months. I'm still okay. I'm not going to go show them 10 houses every weekend up
Right.
until the point they're ready.
Right.
But we can definitely keep an eye on the market, see some houses occasionally, and knowing how to continue that relationship with them. So I'm okay if the answer is no. It just informs me on how to continue the relationship. I just wanted to clarify that.
Absolutely, I agree.
I feel
I have a client coming in about another week or so, and she wants to see 30 homes.
Oh, wow.
And would you break it up into 10 a day for 3 days, or 5 a day, or?
So, have you only talked to her on the phone, first of all?
No, she only will converse via email so far.
Oh
I
god.
wouldn't show her.
there's
I wouldn't
I
show
would
her
try
30
to-
homes.
Would you? So here's what the very first
Try to
thing
get
is.
her
I
on
would
the
say
phone.
we need to do a Zoom call. We need to meet each other because this is a lot of properties, and I want to make sure that we're making the most efficient use of your time. So first and foremost, you've got to do a buyer's consult over Zoom.
Exactly.
with somebody
and,
like
and
that.
second of all, she is a realtor.
Yeah, she'll understand
She,
that.
yeah, I'm like, oh, and then find some more, she says, that you could add to that.
One other strategy.
So have you had the discussion of exactly what she's looking for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and there's that many homes that are available,
Mhm.
that she's, okay.
She's got a-
This was common
she's
back
very
in
open
the
mind.
recession. I'd have people over want to see 60 homes.
Oh.
So I would tell, here's
Yes,
what
I
I would
used to
do.
show
This, you
15.
probably won't do this, but literally my
Oh
thing
my
is like, here's the
gosh.
30 homes.
Tired.
Go to Google
I
Maps.
bet, yeah.
On your own convenience and your time, you can look up these properties and look at an aerial map view. You'll probably disqualify 10 of them.
Be right.
because of-
Absolutely.
I figured we're gonna.
There's
get
an
rid of
apartment
a lot.
complex right next door, there's a train track in the backyard, or whatever, it's right next to the freeway. So on your time, Tracy, I want you to go and look at these 30 properties and Google map them, get it down to 20. Then when you come here, we can drive around, or if she's gonna get here before she meets with you, she could drive around on her own time and get rid of another 10, and I'll show you 10 properties. Like I literally would tell her that.
Yeah, I'll give
So
them.
you
I've
come
had
with me
buyers
when
do
you're
that
ready for that.
too, that just wanna go check out the neighborhood before we do,
Yeah.
and they call me and they're like, this is terrible, we don't wanna go,
And I
I'm
knew
like,
that would happen.
fantastic.
Exactly, I figure
Yeah.
we'll lose a lot.
You're gonna
Yes.
lose a lot.
But-
Yeah,
But be
We know.
proactive about giving her homework on it. Say, okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to schedule, of these, we're going to see 5. You don't know this probably, but 5 of these homes are actually very similar floor plans and they're all in the same neighborhood. We're only going to see one of those, and that's going to give you a chance to see the neighborhood. And then if it ends up being the one at the end of your visit, we can go back and see one of the other homes if we need to. But give them homework too. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to meet in the morning, we're going to see 3 homes. From there, I'm going to leave you for a little bit. You're going to drive around and look at these 2 areas. We're going to come back together in the afternoon and see something like that.
That's
Can
a good
also
idea.
work well.
And you're always fighting a little bit. I mean, it's really refreshing when you get a client that thinks like you think. But sometimes you get clients that think, no, I want to spend 25 minutes in every home, even if I don't like it, because I want to look through everything and I want to see. You'll get people that are very adamant that they do want to see these 30 homes.
And that could.
Then your sales skills come into play with how much do you give versus direct,
yeah,
and everybody's different.
I'd
you
ask,
gotta be somewhat direct, I
You gotta be
feel.
directive.
Yeah, well, they're hiring you, I feel, as the professional,
Right,
like,
yeah,
To help them come up with a
Exactly,
decision that's best for
yeah.
them.
and
She's-
where's she coming from? Out of state?
Washington.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
then ask her what is it she's looking for. As you move to Idaho, what is it that you are looking to have? And they're gonna describe something. I don't want to be. I'm in the Seattle area. It's too many people. Well, then she's not gonna like Meridian
Or
If-
Joel.
or whatever
Certain
their.
parts of town are gonna be really crowded.
Yeah, there's going to be something that you can pick from. Why are they leaving their scenario, or if it's simply just a work change, that kind of thing. And okay, well, what do you see? How do you see yourself relaxing in your home? And you're going to ask those follow-up questions because you're going to be able to go through that MLS list and say, well, that doesn't have it. That doesn't have it. Kind of like Rick said, that's on Fairview and 5 Mile. She doesn't want to be near that industrial section. That's not her vibe. She doesn't want this. She doesn't want that. You're going to be able to show value that way and say, look,
That's true.
I'm going to send you an email, and you're going to say these 5 we're crossing off, and you're going to kind of put a little blurb of why you're crossing them off. Doesn't have the vibe you're looking for. It's too close to X, Y, and Z, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you're going to find out that there's some way to make that list of 30 far shorter before she gets here.
And that's actually adding value.
It
Right.
is. It
If
is.
you just show her 30 houses,
I know.
they think that's adding value, but they're gonna realize, oh, that's not, we're wasting a lot of
Wasting
time.
time.
Actually adding value is doing what Chuck just talked
With her
about.
and go over all of them.
and if she doesn't know the area, she's just gonna get so confused,
Yes.
everything's just gonna blur so much together, she won't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's talk about this one,
They,
the buyer representation. So tell me, guys, how do you guys do this?
I'm terrible at this, half the time I'm putting in an offer and I have forgotten
Right, and you're
to have them sign
Sign
it,
it.
yeah, that's generally,
generally how it goes. So it's not a normal conversation when you first meet with somebody in the first house that this is gonna come up. It's not gonna come up for you.
I don't bring it up. I just don't feel, I'm not pushy, I'm just really getting to know them, see what they like, how I can help them. And yeah, half the time we're doing them at the same time.
That's the offer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm with Kelsey.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like the
thing.
moment you bring it up, like they get
It's a-
super
yeah,
defensive,
they kinda
especially
feel
with
bad.
the whole everything that's went on with it. The moment you bring it up, they get super close to
Do they
I'm
ask
like,
you
wait a
about it ever?
second, 6 months, I have
Not
to sign with
usually.
you for 6.
Occasionally they might ask.
it's like,
Like I might get like one person
But
out
if
of
they're
30
excited about a
people
house,
that'll
they just do it.
ask.
Right.
Yeah.
that's
And be like, hey, I
Yeah.
heard about this. Like, what's
What
the
is
deal
this?
with this? Like, how does this work? And then I'll go into it and explain it. But odds are they're not asking either.
Good.
Yeah.
Chuck, how do you do
I
it?
mean, I take the agency disclosure brochure to a T of I'm helping them in the beginning as a customer relationship. So I'm here just to answer questions. Once we've decided that they want to put in an offer, their brain is already ticked over to, I need to sign some sort of formal document that's going to be presented to me. And then I describe it as, I'm going to send you the offer. You know, we've talked about all the important details. I'm going to send that to you to e-sign. I'm also going to send you the other real estate related documents, which includes the agency, our suite group due diligence, and that buyer's representation agreement. Because at that point, they've allowed their mind to go to that stage. And then I just remind them, hey, the cool thing about this is it gives me the opportunity to fully negotiate on your behalf. It gives me the opportunity to represent you, again, affirming now we are still a team, but now I am a superior in the sense that I'm providing you that expert level of service. And as you know, there'll be compensation. I know you have your money for your down payment. We've discussed what your loan program is going to look like or what you and your lender are working on. Just so you know, my compensation will be negotiated as a seller's expense, and we're going to try and get you the best deal possible, that kind of thing. And then I send it over, and I don't know how everybody else does it differently, but I feel
That's good.
that on the other terms and conditions on the RE14, I always include the line that I'm offering my service as a free cost to the buyer, negotiated as a seller's expense, and that essentially whatever I can negotiate from the seller is what I will be paid. So let's say that I negotiate the best deal. I get you guys $25K back at closing, and we also were $10,000 lower than I get you the sweetest deal, and it comes back with a counter offer that says 2%. Sure, I'm going to call that agent. I'm going to say, is there any chance for that to be a higher compensation? If they say, no, we already give the deal to your client,
Right.
I'm letting that buyer know that I'm not going to pass up the best opportunity for them because of something that I'm receiving. I'm still receiving a good slice of the pie. I've been on the other side of that where I had a buyer's agent recently reach out to me and force the hand of wanting a compensation agreement signed prior to him even showing the home. And I'm like,
Wow.
wait, what? This is the first date, my friend.
Right.
We're already going to marriage and talking about what our wedding's going to look like.
Right.
We don't need it that way. So again, for me, I'm letting that buyer know that you're going to get the best level of service, and it's always going to be focused on what can I do to make your position the best in the conversation. And then in that way, when they're getting that buyer's rep, they don't see that 3% and go, we don't have 3% to pay this guy.
Right.
Instead, it's, don't worry, guys, look a little lower, other terms and conditions. I will negotiate on my own ability to get myself the most compensation, but it won't be at the detriment of you. You are being represented by me.
You
know,
write that in?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
And I'll copy and paste it and put it on
There's a clause available you can just put in, and it says specific. Because I say this, I have the same conversation.
Yeah.
I use it as an opportunity to brag a little bit too. The way
Right.
that I say is like, quite frankly, Mr. Buyer, I do enough business that if I can't negotiate a full 3% on this deal, it's not the difference between my family eating dinner next month and not. And it's just kind of a way of like, oh, he does a lot of business, he's a busy, and so it's kind of a way to brag about
we got
it.
a good guy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Dave Carney.
And so I use that verbiage, but then it does say, so I write in 3%, but then I say, look at other terms and conditions. It's 17 pages in the back,
Yeah.
but it's there. And it says, if the agent is unable to negotiate compensation through the listing broker, then the buyer is only going to be responsible for, and then I changed that number to a 0. I said for 0%. I said, I'm not going to come after you for it. We're in this together. We're working together on this. And I guess there's some risk there. I guess there's a chance out there that some seller is not going to offer compensation, but I haven't run into it. I never ask ahead of time either. It drives me crazy when I get those phone calls from Silver Creek agents. How much are you offering? How much is the compensation? Like, write it into the
terms,
offer.
yeah.
That's
Right.
Tell
yeah.
me the rest of the offer.
This is a negotiation. I'm not going to negotiate against myself. Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Just tell them it depends on what the price is.
Depends on a strong offer means a strong compensation.
Just a reminder,
Right.
in 5 years when you call me and you're ready to sell this house because you guys want something bigger, we'll talk about what it looks like to pay commission to both the listing side and the buyer's side. But in this case, when you guys are buying right now, let's get this thing for the best deal possible. Let me negotiate for you guys, and we'll go from there, that kind of thing. And whenever I send over that email, the e-sign through AuthentiSign, Instinet, whatever you're using, agency disclosure, suite group, due diligence, buyer rep, offer. It goes in order of what needs to be signed. Again, that agency disclosure that you've already discussed with them. It's on camera. I've already discussed the agency disclosure with them. Then that suite group added due diligence. Then that buyer rep. So you're saying that, yes, the next step is us being a team. And now here's that offer and anything related to the home itself. And then I also tell them, hey, I see these documents every single day. Idaho writes these They're peer reviewed all the time. They protect you as the citizen, especially if they're coming from out of state. I remind them that Idaho is a citizen first state. So you're protected. This isn't a cell phone. It's not buying a car, that kind of stuff where there's fine print. It's all there to protect you as the individual. And then let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you see line 255, you're going, what does that even mean? Get a hold of me. Otherwise, just know here's what it is. And I also send them a follow-up text with a little kind of what each one of those documents looks like and kind of a description or a highlight of the most important things on them. Again, remind them about that part on the RE14 where they're not being asked to pay me commission, on the offer sheet, what our offer is, basically the terms highlighted in a little paragraph. And then that way they're receiving all that information, that email.
5-minute one.
So that way you don't have to go line by line. You don't have to bring them. You don't always have to bring them back to the office and talk through every line of each one of those documents. Instead, you're giving them the highlights, reminding them that they're safe, secure, protected by you, protected by the state of Idaho, protected by these documents, and then just that way the buyer reps.
So this is
real.
all, for all of you, this is all when they're writing
Yeah.
on a house. This is not coming up during,
That makes the buyer rep feel like it's a necessary step, but also feel a little more comfortable signing. Because again, the idea of pushing something and forcing somebody into something in that first moment of meeting them, I wouldn't respond well to that. Instead, our job and the biggest part of our code of ethics is that we are there to care for and protect and take care of somebody in their steps of investing into a home. We can't do that if we are putting up a barrier in the beginning. Instead, obviously it's a necessary step. It's important to have that contractual obligation to one another, but it gives you the opportunity to really be a omnipresent advisor for them versus an authoritarian contract provider.
right?
So one thing so my goal in that meeting in the house is always, and we talked about this a little bit last time, my goal is always to get them into some sort of a buyer's consult. That's where I'm gonna get.
That was gonna be this next one, the last one here is how do
Yeah.
you close this up?
Well, and
When
that's where I'm gonna
What's
be
the
talking
next
about the
step?
buyer's
Yeah.
rep if it's somebody who isn't ready to make an offer today. So I do try to get there. I definitely don't do it in that first meeting because again, we're building the relationship. I agree with that. But my goal in that first meeting is trying to get that second one. I try for that second one to be some sort of a buyer's consult, and that can look a lot of different ways. But that's where I then talk about let's do this together and let's make this official. So I do try to get there before the offer, but a lot of times that's where it happens as well. So it just
So how do you guys get the next appointment? It's like, oh, you showed the house, they like it, but they're not ready to write an offer. Now what? Before you drive away, what do? You got their contact information, but do you set another appointment? And what is that appointment? Kelsey.
I don't at the time. I try to have an additional house or even, seeing so many houses. I just showed a couple and I had one in mind. I was like, hey, do you guys have a minute? Let's go check this out. So it gave me more time. It just gives you more time to be with them and build more rapport and get them to like you and then they want to use you. So immediately after I send them, another text, even though we've been texting most likely before we meet,
Right.
or a follow-up email, I get all the criteria of what they're looking for. I get them put into the software, the Ylopo. That way they immediately start getting
Do
listings.
you do that through text? You're gathering their info, or are you doing it at the first when you're showing them?
When I meet them,
when you're done, kind of walk through the house, we're kind of
Yep.
done.
and then I put
That's
them,
when the conversation happens.
and then I talk to them about when they would be able to meet again to tour some more homes. So in the meantime, I'll get you some sent. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll follow up with you. I'm always following up.
How you doing? What do you do, Claire?
Similar but a little different. So I mean, we'll go through the homes and whatnot, and then I just kind of ask them. It depends on if they're just in town for the day or if they're locals. I just ask the question. When's the next time you're available? Weekdays or weekends work better for you. And then they'll tell me, one or the other, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll go ahead and get another list of homes. I'll go ahead and send a bunch over your way. Take a look at them. I'm gonna have some that I also think that might work for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at these homes and plan to look at them on your next day off. So
And do you say and I'll follow up with you on Friday at 2, or do you nail down? like, a specific
usually I
time?
just follow up once I send the homes. Every time I send them, I kind of follow up
reach
with
out.
them and be like, hey, I just sent you a list of homes. Take a look at them real quick. Let me know what you think. And then the next day I'm like, what do you think about those homes? So just kind of keep that repetitiveness of following.
So it's for a next showing. Both of you guys, it's for the next showing. Dave, you mentioned is sometimes it's the goal is for a next meeting, like a buyer rep meeting.
Yeah, and so one of the ways that I do that a lot is I ask them, like, so obviously you've been looking at these houses, you've been, we connected through Realtor.com, et cetera. Has anybody sat with you and talked to you about what's happening in the market today, December 2025, in the housing market in Boise, Idaho? And most of the time the answer is no. Like, I find that to really make efficient use of our time, that's a really helpful step in the process, just to really make sure you guys have a clear understanding, because the market can change like that. And so even if you've been looking for a year, where the market was a year ago isn't the same as where it is today. And that may be helpful as we continue your search. I'd love to take 15 minutes. We can do it over Zoom. You can come to my office, whatever's most convenient for you guys. And I try to nail that down. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes it's just, sometimes you're with them and you already know, like, we only had time to see 3 houses today, but hey, actually, there's these other ones. Could we schedule time to see those? Great. Then that's my second appointment. We're going to go see those. And that's okay. You definitely go with the flow some. But I try really hard to get that buyer's consult, because again, it's adding value more than just opening doors. And that's going to be my opportunity to try to get them signed on a rep as well.
Yeah, and Chuck, how do you close them for the next meeting?
I feel like there's usually 2 big reasons why they said, or why they aren't ready to offer. One is calendar time frame. Again, they said that they were ready to buy 3 to 6 months, and again, you were just building that relationship. And at that point, I'm establishing what our calendar is going to look like. I say, well, again, I know you guys are just in town exploring. This is your first time to Idaho. We're really gearing up for springtime. So what we're going to do now is, for the next 2-3 months, we're just going to be gathering research together. I'm going to send you stuff. You send me anything that you see, whether it's online or it's one of the ones I sent you and you like them. We're going to be gathering so that I can learn more and really figure out those key things that are most important to you. And you said you want to move around March, so that means around February we're going to be doing this again. We're going to be wanting to go see homes, whether it's you coming back to town or it's me giving you video, whatever it may be. That month before that actual time when they envision themselves being here, that's when we're going to really kind of cut the calendar and be doing that second appointment kind of situation. And then I kind of let them know that at that point, we're going to be going a little more hot and heavy with looking at homes. But for the next couple of months, when I know you're not ready to move yet, we're gathering data, we're gathering information, and finding those common factors that are most important to you. And then I remind them too that you're the driver. If for some reason you decide that, January we do want to move, let's make it happen. We can always go as fast or as slow as you want to go. Again, giving them control to the situation. But then there's that other scenario where it's just a factor of the home. We didn't find the right one. Those 3 houses were horrible. They didn't have that shop space, whatever it may be that they're looking for. In that case, they're ready for that second appointment. And then I tell them, okay, perfect. Well, today was Sunday. We looked at homes, didn't find the right one. What I'm going to do now is, based on the things that we've talked about and the things that I've heard you guys talk about, I'm going to send you some more options. You do the same thing. Go back to the computer. Let me know the ones that you find as well, and we're going to put together another list. And weekends are best for you, right? Yeah. Perfect. Then let's plan again next Sunday and try and get it on the calendar. Try and, or at least put it in their brain that if we find a good list again, we're going to be repeating the same process,
Right.
so that you can have that calendar moment. Because if you just leave them with, well, guys, it was nice to meet you.
Right.
I'll send you some other options, and they've driven away, well, your attention could probably focus on other clients, because if something didn't hit, either the house didn't hit, your personality didn't hit with them, they've gone on, and essentially you can say goodbye to that. But at the same time, if you can get them in the mindset of, cool, we are a team, we're together, and we are going to reconvene at this time.
If there's, one of my cardinal rules on that, Chuck, is always set the next appointment at the current one. I'm done chasing people. I chased people for years. We've all got stories of chasing people for months and months and months, and it turns out they already bought a house from somebody else. I've had that happen to me so many times. I don't do that anymore. It's like, if we're going to work together, let's work together. If we're not, that's fine too. But it's one or the other. That's a yes or a no. I don't like open loops. I'm not going to have 50,000 open loops in my life. It's going to be, let's set the next point with the current one. If I don't want to work with them, though, I'll tell them I'm going to refer them to somebody else. We've all fired people that we weren't comfortable with or didn't like, but I don't like the sounds good. I've got 50 sounds goods. A lot of real estate agents, what I say, they overvalue potential. Yeah. There's all this potential, and they think they're actually doing well in business. They're not. They just have a ton of stuff that could happen. that's not business. Like, I want to know we're going to do this. So set that next appointment at the current one.
You don't keep yourself warm with hot leads. Hot leads are as much potential as they can be, but it's good to get that appointment on the schedule. So next Sunday we're going to meet again at 11 o'clock. It doesn't matter if on Friday you call them and go, guys, it was a slow week. I don't see anything new for us.
Right.
What do you say we just postpone and we put that on the calendar for next week? And again, you're just essentially kicking the can, but you're solidifying that we are going to meet on this date. And it's okay for you to come back as a professional and say, I didn't find,
Right.
there were no houses that wowed me enough to tell you that we should go look at them. Did you find anything? And if it's a no, hey, at least you still have that reconvening
And
moment.
that's
for them.
professional and it's leadership. People want to be led, especially people don't want to be led until they know you, like you, and trust you. And then they do want to be led. But if you just stay in that friend zone forever, they want you to step up and like they're looking to you for advice, for help in this whole process. So at first it's rapport. Let's build the trust. Let's get them to like me. But then it's like, okay, if you don't transition into that directive agent, they're gonna find somebody else who will. I've lost lots of clients that way because I was just super nice and never directive. It's like, oh, well, I thought they liked me. Well, they did, but so and so told them to do this and they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, any final thoughts? Thank you guys for being here today with this. We appreciate your insights. You guys did great. Anything else you just want to know about any big picture? Like, hey, when I first meet with a client, this is really what my ultimate goal is.
I think a good thing that I was told in the beginning, people don't care about your opinion as much as you think. So don't give your opinion on a house.
Ask questions. Yeah.
Just ask questions and let them I never say anything bad about a home.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Because
You're not living there.
my taste is not their taste.
Right.
I'm not going to live there. I'm not buying the home. So I never give my opinion. I let them go through because a lot of times I'm like, oh, I really don't like this. And they love it.
Yes.
They love it. So what do you think? Oh, we love it. Oh, I love it too. Agree with them.
Great.
Agree with them. And don't give your opinion. They don't want
feel
it.
good about the
Make them feel good about what
Yeah.
they like, what they want. Yeah. So
The
that's
one time in my
like the
career, I
best
actually sold a
huge-
house at an open house that I was holding open, the one time ever. And the master bedroom was the darkest purple walls, like really dark plum deep purple, all the walls in the master.
And they loved it.
And I did not like it. My wife didn't like it either. But it's so funny. But we bring them up here, and I didn't. I almost did. It was so funny because I remember bringing them, and I'm like cringing when I opened the door to the master bedroom.
Yeah.
And the wife goes, literally, here's what she goes. She goes, "Well, at least we won't have to paint the master bedroom." I'm like, I mean, she loved
Loved
it. I was
it.
like, I'm sitting there going, I look at my wife going, I'm so glad I didn't say it.
Did you say I love it too?
Yeah, I didn't, but I was. But we literally sold that house right then. But I was
Yeah.
very tempted to say, now we can. Paint is not a big deal, you know. Don't
Yeah,
worry
if
about
you
the
just
color.
don't-
I didn't say anything. Just let them.
Just let them.
Yeah, that's a great point. Don't ever say anything negative about
Don't
that.
ever.
Ask them what they
You don't
think
know how
about
they
it.
live. You mean, Their
Exactly.
house might be in the same condition.
Maybe their house
Right.
is perfect.
They'll
Right.
feel judged or something.
Exactly.
And like
Yeah.
Kelsey said too, the only time I ever give my opinion is if it validates their opinion.
Yes.
So I'll tell somebody, look guys, I normally keep my own opinion out of it because you're not paying for my opinion. You're paying for my expertise. But I totally agree with you guys. This is a beautiful whatever it is. Because again, then you're saying, I don't normally do this, but I am saying this to give them that whole that verbal hug.
Endorsement.
Yeah, exactly. And just tell them, yeah, this is great. Again, you're not going to live there. I've sold plenty of homes that I would not live in.
Right.
That's not that's not what I'm there for.
Right.
My relationship, I don't get to move into the guest bedroom. So with that being said, the only time I'm offering opinion is if it makes them feel good about their own opinion and that kind of thing. And then the other little thing I would add as a closing too is anytime somebody gives you a calendar, you're getting that phone call from Op City and they're telling you they're looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months usually means 1 to 3 months. If they're buying in 1 to 3 months, that usually means they're darn near ready to buy. Everybody always wants to push
off.
that away.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you get that person that says, I only want to see one house, I'm ready to write an offer, hey, good luck. For me, that person is usually the person that takes the longest to try and figure out when they want to buy. I've had that rare occasion where that person is ready to buy in that exact moment, one and done, good for you. But I always feel like the calendar, whatever they say, it's a shorter time frame, and if they say it's a right now thing, it's not a right now thing, it's a 6-month thing. But
Typically, people that are saying the right now thing, they're trying to assert their leadership on
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem with that is they don't listen to you. And so they drive, and they're not good. They're all over the board at driving, so it takes longer.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.